The clock hasn't even hit 5 seconds when Howard slices through the paint, snatching a bounce pass in stride. Easy layup. The crowd is bracing for a slugfest, but no one's ready for what comes next. Cunningham bombs in a 3. Boston threads the needle. Howard banks it plus the foul. Over and over, the Fever probe one of the league's stingiest defenses, and somehow, they don't just answer. They dominate. Here's the twist. Caitlin-Clark, the rookie sensation, the face of Indiana's future, isn't on the court. She's seething and supported from the bench, sidelined for a 7th straight game. No one across the league expects fireworks from a team whose superstar is out. You picture Clark, jaw clenched in frustration, yet eyes glued to every possession, living and dying with her teammates on every single play. What if you missed this game thinking the Clarkless Fever were dead in the water? Instead, the Indiana Fever are alive. More alive than anyone has seen in a decade. With this win, their 5th in a row, they've smashed a 10-year drought, climbing within eyeshot of 2nd place in a brutal playoff race. Every possession glistens with urgency. A team transformed by adversity, not undone by it. The narrative that they'd collapse without Clark? Torn up and torched under the bright lights of Seattle. This isn't just survival. It's a coming-out party. A mid-season rebirth with every game rewriting the boundaries of belief. So for everyone watching who already rides or dies with the Fever, right now's your moment. Drop a W in the chat. If you've been waiting to claim this underdog story, go ahead. Type, "I've got the Fever," below, because the rest of the league is learning the hard way. This Indiana team just became impossible to ignore, and you do not want to be late to what happens next. The Indiana Fever enter this West Coast road trip bearing more than just their jerseys. They carry the immense weight of a season that can shift in a heartbeat. Sitting at 16-12, perched precariously in 6th place, the stakes are razor thin. Every game isn't just a contest. It's a test of playoff survival, balanced on the slimmest of margins. Opponents are breathing down their necks. Every possession, every pass, every point cuts through the tension like a sharpened blade. You can feel it. The pressure isn't just external. It's baked into every timeout, every defensive stand, every contested shot. The playoff seeding? A delicate, unforgiving dance where a single slip, a careless turnover or missed layup could instantly wipe away their postseason dreams. Waiting on the horizon are Seattle, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Minnesota, formidable foes who make mistakes a luxury this team cannot afford. Now, imagine this. Your star player, Caitlin-Clark, sidelined. The clock is ticking, the season's heartbeat accelerating, and the spotlight shines brighter than ever. Conventional wisdom says this is the breaking point. But what if it isn't? What if the Fever don't just hold their ground? They flourish. In a league where one superstar typically carries the weight, Indiana is rewriting the playbook. This road trip is a crucible, where resilience and grit are tested against elite competitors. The urgency is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Teams rise or fall in moments like these. And here's the question burning brightest. How does a team without its brightest star not only survive, but completely redefine what's possible? Every game now matters more than ever. To win isn't just to take a victory. It's to stake an ironclad claim in a fiercely competitive playoff race. Lose one and the window slams shut. Pressure mounts. All eyes lock on this team, and the playoff race tightens to an edge sharper than ever. This Fever squad must dig deeper, fight harder, and rise stronger. It's do or die. You can't afford to lose. Buckle up, because Indiana's journey through this unforgiving pressure cooker is only just beginning. Where heroes emerge, legacies are forged, and every second counts. When a star goes down, most teams unravel. But imagine your team, written off, battered by self-doubt, every analyst expecting collapse, slowly forging itself into something even greater. That's the story that stunned the WNBA. The Indiana Fever, freed from their reliance on Caitlin-Clark, began to rediscover each other. What started as a crisis became their crucible. With the pressure on and the margin for error shrinking, they stopped waiting for one hero and started playing for each other, even when the world only wanted to talk about the missing superstar. Coach Stephanie White described it best. The secret to our success lies in something most championship teams eventually learn. When one star goes down, everyone else must level up. Her words echo the reality on the court. A team built around Clark's orbit has found new galaxies. Boston stepped forward as the ultimate connector, orchestrating from the post, distributing dimes and setting hard screens that opened up shooters who, just weeks ago, might have hesitated. Kelsey Mitchell, once the dependable scorer, took on the mantle of leader, calming huddles and directing traffic when things got wild. Natasha Howard embraced more than just scoring. She became the voice in tense moments, extending plays beyond the box score. But it wasn't just the household names. Arie McDonald's quickness became a spark off the bench, her relentless pace creating chaos for opposing guards. Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hall, players who once waited in the wings, seized their moments, draining threes, diving for loose balls, taking charges without a flicker of hesitation. Suddenly, defenses couldn't zero in on any one threat. The Fever's offense hummed along in unpredictable waves, with fresh faces stepping up every night. Coach White called Clark's absence a blessing in disguise. No longer could the Fever's playbook be boiled down to stopping one prodigy. Adversity flipped their destiny. The offense moved from Clark-centric isolation to dynamic, extra pass, sheer self-belief. Grit replaced anxiety, action replaced hesitation. Each win stacked confidence and built chemistry. Even opponents said, "You just never know where the dagger is coming from with this group now." This is how championship DNA is forged. Not in the games you're expected to win, but in the fire of games you were supposed to lose. Imagine yours was the team told it couldn't survive. Then watch every player prove night after night that greatness isn't about any one star, but about everyone answering the call when the light hits them. Sophie Cunningham stepped onto the Seattle court like a powder keg ready to explode. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Her team's star was sidelined, the offense sputtering, and the pressure mounting with every possession. Instead of folding under the weight, Cunningham erupted. While the rest of the Fever outside her went cold, missing 7 straight threes, Cunningham calmly drilled 4 of 5 from downtown. That's not just hot shooting. That's championship ice in the veins. Every single pull of the trigger was a message. This team fights, this team rises, and Sophie Cunningham is the spark. Those 17 points weren't just numbers. They were declarations of resilience. As the clock ticked and sweat dripped, Cunningham became the engine keeping the Fever's offense alive when it seemed destined to stall. Her teammates immediately sensed something rare. Natasha Howard called her the firecracker on social media, a nickname befitting someone who explodes with precision just when the team needs it most. But this is no accidental blaze. It's a fire forged by grit and relentless focus. Cunningham's journey from a role player to a clutch performer is now etched into the Fever's very DNA. Each clutch 3 added confidence not only to herself, but to the whole squad. Her presence on the perimeter created space, opening lanes and opportunities for others to thrive. Kelsey Mitchell, despite a tough shooting night, praised Cunningham for not just scoring but facilitating crucial plays down the stretch, embodying the fearless leadership this team has grown to rely on. Watching Cunningham on this night, you witness a transformation, a player evolving beyond the role, stepping into superstardom. It's a sight that sparks pride, awe, and a whisper among fans. She's doing what superstars do on the biggest stage. Social media ignited with clips of her clutch shots, and analysts buzzed with anticipation. Cunningham's firecracker nickname isn't just a catchy label. It's a recognition of her impact and timing. This is no mere streak. It's the chapter where she emerges not just as a scorer, but as an irreplaceable leader. The Fever season pulses stronger because of her. When all hope seemed thin, Cunningham lit the fuse, and the explosive aftershock is just beginning to roar. When the spotlight isn't on Caitlynclark, the question buzzing through Fever fans was clear. Who would rise and could they carry the weight? Enter Aaliyah Boston, who didn't just rise, she soared, shattering franchise records many thought untouchable. Boston's 6 consecutive double-doubles tore through Fever history, overtaking Clark herself. Did you imagine Boston would rewrite the story so quickly? Each game showed growth, resilience, and leadership. Boston wasn't just posting stats. She was becoming the rock the team needed. Her 16 points and 12 rebounds against Seattle were more than stats. They declared her readiness to embrace pressure and elevate her game when it mattered. Critics wondered if Boston could handle the role, if Clark's absence would expose cracks. The answer? Number Boston became the fastest center in WNBA history to reach 100 assists in a season, a milestone showing her court vision and unselfishness. This was no longer just scoring and rebounding. Boston was running the offense and making teammates better nightly. Coach Stephanie White called Boston the rock of our team, praising her IQ and leadership on and off court. She adapts, leads, and finds the open player when defenses collapse, White said. Sound familiar? It should. Boston's impact draws clear comparisons to Fever legend Tamika Catchings. Like Catchings, Boston's game is built on smarts, versatility, and will to win. It's not just Boston. Natasha Howard's historic night stood alongside Fever's best, scoring 21 points on 10 of 12 shooting, grabbing 5 rebounds, and dishing 5 assists. Howard raised her game to new heights. Her shooting and stats placed her alongside Catchings in franchise lore, with elite efficiency few match. Howard's leadership went beyond stats. She became the vocal anchor in tense moments, steadying younger players through storms. Fans saw a veteran embracing pressure without faltering, a stark contrast to those who crumble. Howard's effort showed champions find new heroes when stakes are highest. The Fever's depth is their strength. While Boston anchors inside and Howard commands front court, players like Ari McDonald and Lexi Hall provide crucial minutes, energy, and hustle. Champions find different heroes nightly. Tonight, it was Boston breaking records and Howard making history. But it's the team effort propelling this group. As the Fever surge toward playoffs with balance and leadership, the question shifts from one player to the depth of this team's resilience. Did you imagine Boston breaking Clark's record this soon? The answer lies in how this team transformed. Not despite adversity, but because of it. The fourth quarter began like a coronation. The Fever riding a comfortable 12-point lead as the minutes melted away. But in playoff basketball, comfort is the greatest illusion. Suddenly, the storm surged. Seattle slashed the lead possession by possession, a flurry of baskets and stops turning sure victory into a 1-point margin that left everyone in the building breathless. Were you sweating through that run? So were the Fever players and every single fan with skin in the game, watching their winning streak and playoff hopes dangle by a thread. Chaos reigned. Indiana's offense sputtered. Passes sailed just out of reach. Open shots rimmed out, and the Storm's momentum became a tidal wave of panic and pressure. It would have been easy to fold. Most teams do. In that cauldron, already fighting nerves and hostile noise, the Fever had to find a sliver of calm or lose everything they'd worked for. And their leading scorer, Kelsey Mitchell, was having her roughest night of the season, mired in a dreadful 3 for 16 shooting funk with all 8 of her 3-point attempts off the mark. Destiny demanded someone, anyone, step up. That someone, improbably and inevitably, was Mitchell herself. With the game tied up in knots and the Storm threatening to flip history, Mitchell attacked the paint with the clock ticking down, knifed through defenders, and dropped in a clutch layup that carved out room for Indiana to breathe. The arena groaned, Indiana's bench exploded, and the mood flipped from heart-and-throat dread to desperate hope. That single play stopped Seattle cold, wrestled the game's rhythm back for the Fever, and might have rescued the entire season. But the win was never about one possession or one player's redemption. The Fever collectively dug in defensively, forcing bad looks, collapsing in the paint, and tracking every loose ball like the season depended on it. Because it did. Those last tense minutes were a masterclass in focus and togetherness, with each player sacrificing, trusting the others, and refusing to blink first. When the final buzzer sounded, it wasn't just relief or joy that swept over the Fever. It was hard-earned triumph. The team had stood at the edge of collapse and chosen conviction instead. In the crucible, when it mattered most, the Fever proved themselves true champions. Surviving the storm, staving off disaster, and writing a chapter of euphoria that left the crowd and everyone watching at home in awe. The storm may have passed for now, but what lies ahead for the Indiana Fever is an even bigger story. A road paved with championship possibilities, a legacy being built in real time. The team has weathered adversity, carved out their identity, and shocked the league by proving they can not only survive, but thrive without their superstar. Now the countdown truly begins. Caitlynclark's return sits just over the horizon, and with every passing game, anticipation crackles louder. Imagine this evolved, battle-tested Fever squad, now oozing with confidence, versatility, and depth, welcoming back one of the game's most electric players. If you're picturing what's possible with Clark running the floor, unlocking lanes, and drawing defenders like a magnet, you're not alone. Across the league, rival teams are already on high alert. The Fever haven't just grown stronger, they've become unpredictable, and nobody wants to face them at full power come playoff time. The pieces are all here. A renewed offense, chemistry forged through hardship, stars who can shine but aren't afraid to trust one another. This isn't just a hot streak. This is a movement. Let's be honest. If you haven't jumped on the fever train yet, now's the time. FOMO is real, and when the playoff lights are brightest, you'll want to be able to say you were there for the moments before greatness fully arrived. This team is building something bigger than just wins. They're fighting for legacy, for the city, for every fan bold enough to believe early. So, Fever Nation, unite. Spread the word. Light up the comments below. Tell us your favorite clutch moment or who you think will be the next hero. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter in this wild, unforgettable journey. The Indiana Fever have already proven miracles can happen. With the team surging and Clark's return imminent, the real show is just getting started. Will you be part of it?